Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To get your own very copy of Qasas Al-Nabiyīn Part 1, special edition which features extensive vocabulary, grammatical analysis, rhetorical elements, syntactical insights, Quranic linguistics, overview of verb patterns, diacritical mark reference tables, Hansware dictionary abbreviations, over 1000 word forms, then click in the link in the description below.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, welcome to the series of Qasas Al-Nabiyīn, where we are grammatically analyzing the sentences and applying the vowel markings with understanding. So we are on story number 16, Baytul Maqdis, which can also be read as Baytul Muqaddas and even Baytul Muqaddis as well. So we have the story here in front of us. So inshallah, let's zoom in and we will analyze a few sentences at a time. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, we have the title here, which is Bayt, and it means house. So there's nothing before it, it's a title, so we will say it's in the state of Raf. There's nothing to govern it in the state of Nasb or Jar. So Baytu, it's involved in a possessive phrase. So Al-Maqdis, which means sanctified, okay, pure. So this will be a mudaf ilay construct. Baytul Maqdisi. Now it entails the meaning of Mawsuf Sifa, the sanctified house. So this will be considered to be Idafatul Mawsuf, where we are making the essence and entity as the mudaf towards the sifa, the attribute, which is Al-Maqdis, which means sanctified. So we have the first word, wa, so that is mabniyun al-fath, so it won't decline. Kana, past tense verb, that won't also decline, and it means was or had. In this situation, we'll translate kana as had because we're showing some kind of possession of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So li means for. So it's harful jar, so we say mabniyun al-kasr. Ibrahim is a غير munsarif word and in the state of jar because of the harful jar lam. And a غير munsarif word, we know that in the state of jar is going to have fatha bila tanween. So وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ. Now notice here, when we have kana, we have to see where the noun of kana is. We can't make Ibrahim the noun of kana because Ibrahim has come after harful jar. So we can't make the harful jar and the ismul majrur Ibrahim the noun of kana because lam is a harf. That means the noun of kana has been delayed, which is zawj, and that means spouse or wife. So if zawj is the delayed ism of kana, that means it's going to be marfu with a dhamma, zawjun. And there's no tanween, there's no ta'un marbuta here, because sometimes we can omit the ta'um marbuta, even it suggests an entity being feminine. However, because of the context, we know it's referring to the wife, so the ta can be omitted. So instead of saying وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ زَوْجَةٌ, we're just saying وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ زَوْجٌ. Next word is أخرى, which means another. And this is ending with alif maqsura. Now, because this word is ending with alif maqsura, okay, we probably want to get this down there. Now, because this word is ending with alif maqsura, we cannot apply the apparent vowel marking. Now, what is the vowel marking? It's a dhamma. Because when we say another, it's acting as the sifa of zawjun. And we know that mawsuf sifa follows each other in i'rab. Notice here we said i'rab, not harakat, because the sifa will also always follow the mawsuf in i'rab, not necessarily harakat. And this is a good example because zawjun has dhamma, ukhra does not have a dhamma. It has actually alif maqsura, but we will say the dhamma is implied because words that end with alif maqsura, the i'rab is implied, it's taqdiri. So ukhra, we would say that the dhamma is hidden, implied, it's muqaddara. And why we're implying a dhamma on the word ukhra? Because it's the sifa, the nat of the word zawj. The next word we have is ism, which means name. What are we going to say? Ismu, isma, or ismi? Well, let's look at the sentence structure. وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ, and Ibrahim had. We don't need to translate this li as for, because kana li just means that Ibrahim had. That's enough. We don't need to translate as for Ibrahim there was. Zawjun ukhra, another wife. Now what's happening here is ukhra is one sifa of zawj. So this word ukhra is one sifa of the word zawj. Now the second sifa actually is a sentence. The second sifa is a sentence. Because sifa can be in one word and it could even be a sentence. So if we treat this as a sentence on its own, that means the first part of the sentence, which is ism, okay, that is going to be mubtada'un. So it's going to be marfu with a dhamma. And the ha is a pronoun which refers back to the spouse. So her name was Sarah. Now the word Sarah, it's غير munsarif. So we're going to not add a tanween. We're just going to just give you a single dhamma and say Saratu. And why is this marfu? Because the khabar. So Saratu is a khabar of ismu ha. And this ismuha Sarah, this is becoming the second nat of zawj. The second nat of zawj. So we would say that this sentence, ismuha Sarah, is fi mahalli raf. Because when sentences experience states, we don't say it's marfu, mansub, or majroor, or majzoom. We will say it's fi mahalli raf. Or if it's nasb, it will be fi mahalli nasb. And if it's jar, we would say fi mahalli jar, etc. So let's read this sentence. وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ زَوْجٌ أُخْرَى اسمها سارة. Ibrahim alayhi salam had another wife. Ismuha Sarah, whose name was Sarah. So notice here we said whose, because we're joining the sifa onto the mawsuf. Okay, so that's that sentence done. وَكَانَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ. So we've done that before, so we can do a copy and paste job there. Same sentence structure. Again, the Ibrahim is acting as a khabar of kana, but it has been advanced. So Ibrahim had. So waladun means a child. This is going to be marfu with a dhamma because it's the delayed khabar of kana. Akhar, we're going to say akharu because it's the sifa of the word walad. So akhar is the sifa of the word waladun. Now why we're not giving the word akhar a tanween and saying waladun akharu? That is because akhar is ghayr munsarif. And what are the two causes? One is it's on the pattern of a verb. So akharu originally was akharu, so af'alu pattern. And the second thing is, the second cause is wasfiyah. It's got the meaning of being a description. So when you say another, it entails the meaning of a sifa. So waladun akharu. Min is a preposition. It means from. So it's mabni ala sukun. Sarah being ghayr munsarif. The two causes is, one is it's a proper noun, alam, and the second being is that it's feminine. So we're going to say min saratin, we're going to say min sarata. Now here we got this sentence again, ismuhu. Again, walad was the mawsuf, the man'ut, so Ibrahim had a child. What's the first sifa? another. Okay, so another child. The second sifa was min Sarah, who was from Sarah. And the third sifa is ismuhu Ishaq. So we've actually got three sifas of the word walad. One has come in the form of one word, a noun, kharu. The second has come in the form of a prepositional phrase. And the third has come in the form of a jumla. So normally when you have a nakira word, a word which is indefinite, if a prepositional phrase follows after it, or a jumla, then that would normally be man'ut an-nat in tarkib. Okay, so ismu, if we're treating this as the third sifa, first one being akharu, the second one being min Sarah, so he had a child, and then who was the child from? From Sarah, second sifa. Third one is whose name was Ishaq. So if we're treating this as the third sifa, but in the jumla form, then ismu is going to be a mubtada. So that's why it's important. Tarkib and i'rab is important, so we understand that we can have a mubtada in the middle of a sentence. It's not necessarily, look how the sentence started. It started with kana. Who would think that we would have a mubtada somewhere down the line? That's because a nat can come in the form of a jumla, and if it does, then we would have to treat it as a mubtada khabar sentence if it starts with a noun. So ismu is mubtada marfu'un with a dhamma. The who is a pronoun referring back to the boy, and ishaq is going to be the khabar of ismu. So we're going to say ishaqu. Ismuhu ishaqu. No tanween because this word is ghair munsarif, and the two causes, one being that it's a proper noun alam, and the second is it's an Arabic word. So let's read this. وكان لإبراهيم ولد آخر من سارة اسمه إسحاق. And Ibrahim had another son from Sarah whose name was Ishaq. So we would say اسمه إسحاق is في محل رفع. Okay, نعت ثالث لولد. So the sentence will be experienced in the state of raf because of the nat of walad. What means and mabni al-fath. Sakana means dwelled or remained, resided. So sakana is a past tense verb. So who stayed? Ibrahim. So Ibrahim being the fa'il, we would say it's marfu with a dhamma because fa'il is always marfu. So wasakana Ibrahimu. Fi means in. So it's mabni ala sukun, but because we're joining onto the word, we'll just put the tashkil on the sheen, and we'll say fi sham, and the word asham is going to be majroor because there's a harful jar before it. Again, wasakana, and stayed and remained. So, oops. Okay. Copy the word wasakana. So what means and, sakana means remained or stayed. Ishaq is the fa'il this time. Again, it's غير munsarif, so we're going to say ishaqu. So وسكن إبراهيم في الشام وسكن إسحاق. And Ibrahim stayed in Sham and Ishaq stayed. What means and? Bana is a past tense verb, but it's mabniyun ala al-fath al-muqaddar. So we can't see the fatha at the end. It'll be implied. So we will say it's mabniyun ala al-fath al-muqaddar. So wab bana, which means to construct. Who constructed? Ishaq. So Ishaq is the fa'il. That's marfu with a dhamma. So wabana Ishaqun. What did Ishaq alayhi construct? A house. So the house is maf'ul bihi. So we're going to say baytan. Li means for, and we're going to say for Allah. So Ismul Jalala is going to be majroor with a kasrah. So out of respect and courtesy, we'll say Ismul Jalala as opposed to saying Allah straightforward is majroor. So lillahi. Fi means in. Again, the word asham is ismun majroor, a noun which follows on from the preposition. So we're going to say fi shami. Kaf means like. So it's harfu tashbih, mabniyun al-fath, all particles are mabni. Ma here, we can either consider it as masdariya or ismun mawsulun, a relative pronoun. So it's mabniyun al-sukun. Bana, we've already just done that as well. It's a past tense verb. So we're going to say it's mabniyun al-fath al-muqaddar. Now, abuhu, so just as the way his father and his brother built. So abuhu is the fa'il of bana. Now here, this word has declined with a letter, the waw, because abuhu is one of those 6 nouns that decline in the state of raf with the waw, nasb with the alif, so it'll be abahu in the state of nasb, and jar with the ya, so it would have been abihi. But because the fa'il of bana, we're going to say abuhu. Wa means and, so it's mabni al fath. The word akhu acts like abu, so it declines in the same way with the waw in the state of raf, nasb with the alif, and jar with the ya, provided it's mudaf towards anything besides the ya al mutakallim. So why is akhuhu marfu? Well, it's doing atf on the word abuhu. And why was abuhu marfu? It's the fa'il of bana. So just as the way his father, kama bana abuhu wa akhuhu, just as the way his father and his brother constructed what? Baytan means a house. So this is the maf'ul bihi of bana, baytan. Again, lillahi, lillah, there's 2 words. One is the harful jar and one is ismul jalala. Okay, so let's just copy and paste that. Copy and paste. Fi means in, it's a particle, and it's mabniun ala sukun. Makkah, this word is going to be fatha bila tanween. It's ghayr munsarif, so it's not going to have the kasra. So we're going to say fi makkata. The 2 causes, one is ta'neeth and the other one is a proper noun. So let's translate the sentence. وَبَنَى إِسْحَاقُ بَيْتًا لِلَّهِ فِي الشَّامِ كَمَا بَنَى أَبُوهُ وَأَخُوهُ بَيْتًا لِلَّهِ فِي مَكَّةِ. And Ishaq alayhi salam built a house for Allah in Sham, just as the way his father and his brother built a house for Allah in Mecca. So that's that sentence done. Let's move on to our next sentence. So we have the waw, which means and. Hada, which is a demonstrative pronoun. This is going to be mabni ala sukun. So it's going to end with a sukun because it's indeclinable. So wahadha. Next word is al-masjid. Now, how are we going to read this word al-masjid? Well, little simple trick here, that if the word after ismul ishara, hada or dhalika, is mu'arraf bi al, i.e. it's definite with the definite article al, then it will act as the badal. The word that comes after it will act as the badal of the ismul ishara. So al-masjid is the badal, the substitute of hada. And we know that badal follows mubdal min in i'rab. So al-masjid, if it's the substitute, the same reference point for the word before, which is hada, what i'rab was the of hada? Well, let's look at hada. It's a noun at the beginning of a sentence. So hada is experienced in the state of raf. So that's why al-masjid will also be experienced in the state of raf, because it's the badal. And what's the badal? Badal is the word that has the same reference as the word mentioned before. So even if we were to remove the word al-masjid, it will still be the same reference when we're saying hada. And if we were to remove the word hada and just say the word masjid, is still referring to the same place. So that's what badal and mubdal min is. Badal will always be the second word. Mubdal min will be the one before it. Alladhi is a relative pronoun, mabniun ala sukun. However, it can still experience states. So alladhi, and this masjid, which. So al-masjid was marfu because it's the badal of hada. Alladhi, despite it being a relative pronoun, it still will be experiencing the state of raf. Why? Because alladhi is acting as the sifa of al-masjid. So we can see al-masjidu alladhi. So both are definite. Both are singular. We're not saying alladina, we're not saying al-masajid. Both are masculine. Al-masjid is masculine, we're saying alladhi is also masculine. We're not saying allati. So they agree in gender and they also agree in i'rab. The only difference is al-masjid is a declinable word and we can see the vowel marking of this word being in the state of raf. That's why we're saying al-masjidu. But alladhi being an indeclinable word does not take away from it the fact that it can't experience a state. It's just that it can't be expressed. So alladhi is experiencing the state of raf. And why is that? That's because the sifat of al-masjid. So which bana means constructed. It's mabniyun al-fath al-muqaddar. We can't see the fath. So which was constructed by who? Ishaq. So Ishaq is the file of the verb bana. So it's going to be marfu with a dhamma. Fi means in. Again, mabniyun ala sukun. Ash-sham is ismun majroor. So we're going to give you a kasra. It's in the state of jar. Now, this part here is actually consists of the mubtada and its badal and sifa. So this masjid, which was constructed by Ishaq alayhi salam in Sham, and this is the khabar now. Huwa Baytul Maqdis. So all this, هذا مبدل من المسجد بدل الذي بناه إسحاق في الشام, the موصول sila will become the na'at of al-masjid, and then huwa Baytul Maqdis is the khabar. So huwa here we would say it's dhamir marfu. Why is it marfu? Because it's mubtada'un, and bayt we're going to read this as marfu because it's the khabar of huwa. This huwa here. So it is the sanctified house. So huwa is mubtada, zamir marfu. Bayt is the khabar because mudaf, we're not going to give you a tanween. So baytul maqdisi. Okay. So what's happening here is that the khabar has come in the form of a jumla ismiya. So we would say huwa Baytul Maqdis is fi mahalli raf, the khabar of هذا المسجد الذي بناه إسحاق في الشام, and it flows with the sentence translation as well. So let's look at the first part. And this masjid, which was constructed by Ishaq in Sham, that's not a complete sentence, is completed by the second part. It is the sanctified house. It is Baytul Maqdis. There's another take on here that is هذا المسجد الذي بناه إسحاق. This forms the mubtada with the badal and the sifat of the al-masjid. So this masjid, which was constructed by Ishaq al-Islam in Sham, huwa is dhamir al-fasl. Now what does dhamir al-fasl mean? It comes to separate the mubtada and the khabar because both are ma'rifah. And one can mistaken it probably for it to be mawsul sifa, etc. So dhamir al-fasl comes to separate the mubtada and the khabar. So in other words, to say that whatever's before huwa is mubtada and whatever has come after huwa is the khabar. And it also gives the meaning of has, makes it exclusive. So that's why in translation we say it is Baytul Maqdis. So that's another take on this. So in that situation, huwa will be dhamir al-fasl, la mahalla lahu min al-i'rab. It'll have no role in terms of i'rab. So Baytul Maqdis will straightforward be the khabar of هذا المسجد الذي بناه إسحاق في الشام in that situation. وهو, so wa means and, huwa means it, referring back to Baytul Maqdis, and it is al-Masjid al-Aqsa. So this is another name for it. Inshallah, we will mention why is it known as al-Masjid al-Aqsa. So what's happening here? Huwa is mubtada'un. So al-Masjid is it is the masjid. It is al-Masjid al-Aqsa, which Allah blessed is what? Its surroundings. So al-Masjid, huwa is mubtada, al-Masjid is the khabar, and you can even have this sentence like this as well. There's no possibility of al-masjid being the sifa of huwa, despite both being ma'rifah, because both are entities. Huwa means it, so it's referring to Bayt al-Maqdis, and al-masjid is also an entity. It's not a describing, it's not in its descriptive meaning. So it refers to an entity as well. So you can't have two entities for it to be mawsuf sifa. You have to have the entity, the essence, and then you have the description. So Al-Aqsa being the sifa al-masjid, okay, it's going to be marfu with a hidden dhamma. So it's like Musa. So we can't see the dhamma on the word Al-Aqsa. So we're going to say that the dhamma is implied. So it is Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Alladhi, again, this is the sifa of the word Al-Masjid. Same thing as before. So Alladhi is actually experiencing I'rab despite it being Mabni. And what I'rab is he experiencing? Well, let's see what is the sifa of. It's the sifa of Al-Masjid. The first sifa being Al-Aqsa, the furthest masjid. And the second sifa has come in the form of Alladhi barakallahu hawlahu. In the form of Ismul Mawsul and Jumlatul Sila. So Alladhi is experiencing the state of Raf because the sifa of Al-Masjid. Al-Aqsa being the second one. Baraka, this is the past tense verb. This is part of the relative clause. So Baraka, Mabniyun al-Fath. Who blessed it? Allah. So Allah is the file, marfu with a dhamma. Hawl, its surroundings. So this is a dharf. Maf'ul fi dharf, makan. So it's going to be mansub with a fatha, and the who is a pronoun, its surroundings. So وَهُوَ الْمَسْجِدُ الْأَقْصَى الَّذِي بَارَكَ اللَّهُ حَوْلَهُ. It is Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, or it is the furthest masjid whose surroundings Allah had blessed. Again, wa means and, baraka, past tense verb, so mabniyun ala al-fath. Who blessed? Allah, so Allah is the fa'il. Allah blessed who? The children of Ishaq. Or Allah put blessings in the children of Ishaq. So fi is a particle. Mabniyun ala sukun. Awlad is ismun majroor. It follows on from the harful jar, so it's going to have a kasra. No tanween because it's mudaf. Children of Ishaq. So Ishaq is a mudaf ilay. But because it's ghayr munsarif, a ghayr munsarif word in the state of jar is going to have fatha bila tanween. So we're going to say Ishaqa. Kaf, we've done this before, it's harful jar or tashbih. Mabniyun al-fath. Ma here, we can either say it's masdariya. So you change the meaning of the verb after in the meaning of masdar, or we could say it's ismul mawsul. Baraka, past tense verb, mabniyun al-fath. The file is hidden inside, which refers back to ismul jalala. Fi, which means put blessings in, so in. Mabniyun ala sukun. Awlad, again, ismun majroor. Mabniyun, it's going to have a kasra. So fi awladi. No tanween because it's mudaf towards the word Ismail. And Ismail is a ghayr munsarif word. So in the state of a jar, a ghayr munsarif word is going to have fatha bila tanween. So we're going to say Ismaila. So وَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ فِي أَوْلَادِ إِسْحَاقَ كَمَا بَارَكَ فِي أَوْلَادِ إِسْمَاعِيلَ. And Allah put blessings in the children of Ishaq alayhi salam, just as the way He put blessings in the children of Ismail alayhi salam. What means and? Kana means were, because we're going to say the plural of the noun of kana, so we can't say was, we'll say were. Fi means in, mabniun ala sukun, harful jar. Him is a pronoun. It's normally hum, but because it follows on from the word fi, so it's going to give a kasra. Now, the ism of kana, fihim cannot be the ism of kana, because the word is a particle, and the ism of kana has to be a noun. So it's been delayed. So the word anbiya is the ism of kana. So anbiya. Oh, we're going to give no tanween because the word, yes, is marfu, is the delayed ism of kana. However, this word is ghayr munsarif. What's the two causes? One, it's actually got one powerful cause that is equal to two, and that is it's feminine with alif mamduda, and that is equal to 2 causes, so we don't need to look for another cause. So that's why we're saying وَكَانَ فِيهِمْ أَنْبِيَاءُ, and among them were prophets. What means and? Now we're adding on to the word muluk, so that means the word muluk is going to be also in the state of raf. So we're going to read this mulukun, and it's the plural of malikun, which means king. So muluk means kings. Muluk is doing atfan anbiya, so that's why it's marfu. And why was anbiya marfu? It's the ism of kana. So that's why we would read this as وَكَانَ فِيهِمْ أَنْبِيَاءُ وَمُلُوكٌ, and among them were prophets and kings. Wa means and, kana means had. We'll translate here because we got the word li ishaq. We've done this word before as well. Lam is harful jar, ishaq is majroor. غير munsarif word following on from a harful jar, so it's going to be fatha bila tanween. The word walad is the delayed ism of kana. Li ishaq forms to become the khabar. Walad is the ism which has been delayed. So we're going to say it's marfu with a dhamma. So وَكَانَ لِإِسْحَاقَ وَلَدٌ, and Ishaq had a child. Now remember we said before as well, so when you have a nakira word and a jumla after it, it would be mawsuf sifa. So ismuhu Yaqub is going to become the sifa of waladun. So if it's a sentence form, the sifa, we'll have to treat this as an independent sentence. So we're going to say ismu is mubtada'un, so it's marfu with a dhamma. Who is the pronoun? So whose name, and also in translation we say the word whose. So it reflects the mawsuf sifa tarkib, and the translation reflects that. Yaqub is the khabar of ismuhu. No tanween, ghayr munsarif. 2 causes, one is alam, and the second one is it's not an Arabic word. So ismuhu Yaqub, and then this sentence becomes fi mahalli raf because it's the na'at of waladun. So waladun is man'ud, the na'at is come in the form of a sentence. Wakana means and, kana means was, and the pronoun of kana is inside. The ism of kana, is the pronoun inside, which is huwa, and it refers back to Yaqub. Nabiyyan means a prophet. We're going to read this as mansub because it's the khabar of kana. The ism is hidden inside. So wakana ay wakana Yaqubu nabiyyan is the khabar of kana. So we're going to read that mansub. So wakana li Ishaqa waladun ismuhu Yaqubu wakana nabiyyan, and Ishaq alayhi salam had a child whose name was Yaqub, wakana nabiyyan, and he was a prophet. Again, wakana, waw means and, kana is a past tense verb. So it's fi'lun madin naqis. Yaqub is the ism of kana. So here we got the ism straight away. So it's going to be marfu with a dhamma. Wa kana Yaqubu. Now Yaqub is the ism of kana. The khabar has come in the form of a sentence. So we're going to treat this lahu ithna ashara waladan as a sentence itself. So Yaqub, and then lahu ithna ashara waladan, he had 12 sons. So if we're treating this as a separate sentence now, let's break it down. Lam is harful jar, who is a pronoun, which means we won't translate for him, we'll say he had. Ithna, okay, this word is mu'arab. What state is the word ithna experiencing? It's experiencing the state of raf. It's a dual word. It was actually ithnani, but the noon drops off. Okay, because we're saying 12 now. When you say 12, you say ithna ashara. Why is the word ithna in the state of raf? This word here, it's actually mubtada muakhar. So in other words, ithna ashara waladan lahu. There were 12 sons for him, but lahu has come first. So lahu is khabar muqaddam. Remember, this is an independent sentence itself. Lahu ithna ashara waladan. So if we're breaking this down, lahu is khabar muqaddam, ithna is the mubtada muakhar. And a dual word in the state of raf is signaled by alif. That's why we're saying ithna. Now the word ashara it's mabniyun al-fath, because when it comes to number 11 and 12, the first part, i.e. the unit, not the 10, the unit will be mu'rab, so that'll decline. So in the state of raf will be ithna, state of nasb and jar will be ithnay. Okay. Actually, that's only with number 12, not 11 and 12, so I would take that back. Only number 12, the unit declines, and with 11 and 13 onwards, both the unit and the 10 will be mabniyun al-fath. So ashara, okay, it's going to be mabniyun al-fath because number 12 specifically, only the unit, when you say the unit, what do you mean? The number 2 will decline. The rest will remain mabni. So ashara is mabniyun al-fath. Walad means sons, but the thing when we count, what we count is known as ma'dud. From 11 all the way to 99 will always be singular, even though when we actually mention it, it's when we translate it as plural in English. We don't say 12 son, we say 12 sons. But in Arabic, when you count from 11, the thing you count, i.e. ma'dud, from 11 all the way to 99 will be mansub, and it'll be also indefinite, nakiratun, and it'll also be singular as well. So waladan, we're not saying awladan. Now the question here is, why is it mansub? It'll be mansub on the basis of tamyiz. Tamyiz means a distinct noun, a noun that draws a distinction. So if we were to say Yaqub had 12 what? 12 sons. So tamyiz is one of the mansubat. It's one of those words that finds itself to be in the state of nasb, and it can come after numbers, especially from 11 to 99. The ma'du, the thing that you count, will be mansub. So ithna ashara waladan. Min means from, mabnin ala sukun. Hum is a pronoun. Okay. So from them or among them was Yusuf. So minhum, both are mabni. So min is a harful jar, hum is a pronoun. It's in the state of jar. Yusuf, how are we going to read this word? So now let's look at the bigger picture here. The bigger picture is the sentence started with kana. Okay, kana, we know it has a noun, which was Yaqub. So that's marfu. No tanween غير munsarif. Yaqub. Now the khabar of kana was lahu ithna ashara waladan. He had 12 sons. Now this is a sentence itself. Lahu ithna ashara waladan. Now this sentence, lahu ithna ashara waladan, it's fi mahalli nasb. It's experienced in the state of nasb because of the khabar of kana. So the khabar of kana is not one word, it's a sentence. So Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 sons. Now the word sons, waladan, ithna ashara waladan, this we can keep this as the mawsuf, 12 sons. From among them was Yusuf ibn Yaqub. So this sentence here, minhum, okay, is going to become the sifa, minhum Yusuf ibn Yaqub, is going to become the sifa of ithna ashara waladan. And this sentence will experience the state of raf because it's the sifa of ithna ashara waladan, and the word ithna ashara waladan, the word ithna, is in the state of raf. So what we're essentially saying here is, and Yaqub, he had 12 children, and what's the sifa? From among them, or among whom, was Yusuf ibn Yaqub. So you can have the whom translation to suggest the sifa translation of ithna ashara walada. So if we're treating this as a separate sentence, minhum is khabar muqaddam, because we can't make minhum the mubtada. It's a harf at the beginning of a sentence. So the mubtada has been delayed. That's why Yusufu is playing the role of the mubtada. So it's going to be marfu with a single dhamma because it's غير munsarif. Two causes. One is it's a non-Arabic word, and the second one is it's alam is a proper noun. Some people suggest it actually was unvowelled because it's got the alamat al-mudari at the beginning. Now Yusuf, this word ibn, how are we going to read this? Well, it's the same reference if you say son of Yaqub. Yaqub is still referring to Yusuf. So it's badal. So ibn is the badal of Yusuf. So it's going to be marfu as well because badal follows mubdal min in i'rab. Which word will be badal? The word ibn. Which word will be mubdal min? It'll be Yusuf. No tanween because it's mudaf towards Yaqub. Now if Yaqub is a mudaf ilay of ibn, mudaf ilay, a غير munsarif word, is going to be with a fatha without a tanween. So Yaquba. So minhum Yusuf ibn Yaquba. That's how we'll read this. So let's translate this sentence. وكان يعقوب له 12 ولدا منهم يوسف بن يعقوب. Yaqub alayhi salam had 12 children, among whom was Yusuf ibn Yaqub, Yusuf the son of Yaqub. And again, let's just reiterate. Kana was fi'lun madin naqisun. Yaqub was the ism of Kana, and the khabar of Kana was a sentence, jumla ismiya. Lahu 12 waladan. So lahu is khabar muqaddam. 12 waladan was mubtada muakhar, and that became fi mahalli nasb, in the state of nasb, because the khabar of Kana. And then minhum Yusuf ibn Yaqub, this was the sifa of 12 waladan. So 12 sons, among whom was Yusuf ibn Yaqub. And this sentence is a jumla ismi as well. The thing here is that minhum is khabar muqaddam and Yusuf ibn Yaqub was mubtada muakhar. Now that means and Yusuf, a noun at the beginning of a sentence, is going to be mubtada marfu with a single dhamma غير munsarif. So wa Yusufu and Yusuf. The khabar of this mubtada here, Yusuf, is actually a sentence. So it's not one word, it's actually a sentence. Yusuf, what about him? Lahu qissatun ajibatun fil Quran. He has an amazing story in the Quran. So this sentence here, lahu qissatun ajibatun fil Quran, is going to form to become the khabar of Yusuf. So we will say that this sentence, lahu qissatun ajibatun fil Quran, is fi mahalli raf. So let's break this sentence down. Lam is harful jar, who is majroor, dhamir majroor, khabar muqaddam. Qissa, how we're going to read this? We're going to say qissatun. Why? Because it's mubtada'un of this sentence, lahu qissatun. Ajiba, ajibatun, marfu with a dhamma because of the sifa of the word qissatun. So ajibatun. Fi means in, and the word al-Quran is going to be with a kasra because it comes after harful jar. So fil Qur'ani. So wa Yusufu lahu qissatun ajibatun fil Quran, and Yusuf has an amazing story in the Quran. So Yusuf was mubtada'un, and the khabar has come in the form of a jumla ismiya, lahu qissatun ajibatun fil Quran, and that's in the state of raf because the khabar of Yusuf. What means and? Ilayka. Now this actually is ismul fi'l. What's ismul fi'l? It's actually when we have either normally it's nouns, okay? They come in the meaning of a verb. So it could be a past tense verb, it could be even an imperative verb, command. So ilayka, it entails the meaning of a commanding verb, iqra. So ilayka is ismul fi'l. Now a lot of people get stuck here and they just translate it as towards you or in front of you is this story. That's not really correct. Ilayka is actually in the meaning of iqra. Ilayka is ismul fi'l. It's considered to be a word that entails the meaning of a verb. And what verb does ilayka entail the meaning of? Iqra, which means read. So ilayka is in the meaning of iqra, which means read. So we would say ilayka, it's ismul fi'l mabniyun ala al-fath. Okay, mabniyun ala al-fath. هذه, this is ismul ishara And here the Ismul Ishara we can say is experiencing a state. What state is هذه experiencing? Well, if ilayka is in the meaning of iqra, which means read, هذه is experiencing the state of nasb because it's the maf'ul bihi of the ismul fi'l ilayka. So read this. And al-qissata is the badal of هذه. Because when you say this, you're referring to the story, and if you were to swap those words around, it's still referring to the same thing. So al-qissata. Al-qissata. So just to summarize that again, al-qissata is in the state of nasb because it's the badal substitute for hadihi, which becomes a mubdal min. So if you swap them around and you say ilayka al-qissata or ilayka hadihi, it's still referring to the same thing, same story. So al-qissata is the badal of hadihi, so it's in the state of nasb. Why was hadihi in the state of nasb? Because the maf'ul bihi of ilayka, and ilayka is not in its normal structure of harful jar and ismul majrur. Is actually it's actually functioning as a ismul fi'l. It's a word. Well, some might say, well, how can you call it ismul fi'l, a noun in the meaning of verb? Majority of them are nouns. Sometimes there can be particles as well. So in this case, ilayka. So taghliban, predominantly they are nouns. And if we were to come across a particle like alayka, okay, means in the meaning of to be necessary, sometimes you can have particles. That does not take it away that it entails the meaning of a verb. So alhamdulillah, that's story number 16 finished. Alhamdulillah, story number 16. Okay, story number 16 completed. Inshallah, after this, moving on to Yusuf al-Islam's story, we will probably have a different approach and more kind of a quick and advanced approach, because we feel that from story 1 to 16 it has been a bit repetitive, so you probably are kind of used to now the words which are mabni. They don't need to always be explained that it's mabni al-fath, so we can move on to the stories quicker. If anybody is interested in purchasing the Qasas Al-Nabiyīn special edition, it don't have the vowel markings provided. That's because the whole breakdown of the vowel markings is explained in the Arab section here. So everything what we said and more is explained here in the Arab section. Plus also there's the vocabulary section. So all the words that appear in the story that haven't appeared before, there's a breakdown of those words as well. Okay, so if you look here, okay, akhun, plural is ikhwatun, brother. Also we like qissatun, qisasun, story, ajibatun, ajaib, wondrous. So there's a vocabulary section followed by the Arab, and then finally we have rhetorical points, balagha points, and beneficial points taken from tafsir. So we'll choose one point today which we can probably cover. Okay, let's look at probably Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. So why is Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa known as Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, the furthest masjid? So وسمي بالأقصى لبعد المسافة بينه وبين المسجد الحرام. The reason why it's known as the furthest masjid is because of its far distance between it and Al-Masjid Al-Haram. So because of that long distance between Al-Masjid Al-Haram and Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa, so it's far away from Al-Masjid Al-Haram. That's why it's known as the furthest masjid. And roughly it's probably about 870 miles distance. Another thing of point of note here is Baytul Maqdis. There's actually a few variations. You can read the Baytul Maqdis, okay, and like on the pattern of Marji', and it's all will give the meaning of Al-Quds, and which means Tuhr, which means purity. It's a place wherein the worshipper is pure from sins, or it purifies the worship from what idols. There's another variation here as well, and that is Baytul Muqaddas. So it's on the Ismul Maf'ul pattern. And even وَقَدْ جَاءَ بِصِيغَةِ اسم الفاعل أيضا, it's also comes under اسم الفاعل pattern as well, بيت المقدس. Okay, and that's because it again it purifies and cleanses the worshipper therein, meaning in that place, from sins. Baitul Maqdis or Muqaddis or Muqaddas, what type of idafa is it? It's idafatul mawsuf ila sifatihi. It's idafa of the mawsuf towards its actual sifa. So idafa of the entity towards the attribute. And you have examples like this in Arabic as well, like Salatul Ula, the first prayer. So it's actually as-salatul ula. But there's room and scope for this. It can be turned into an idafa construction. Another example, Masjidul Jami'. So Jami' Masjid, the comprehensive masjid. So normally if you look at the translation, it actually in Arabic it would be Al-Masjidul Jami'. But we see that in books of fiqh is brought as a mudaf ilayh construction. Okay, so والمشهور فيه الإضافة. The renowned variation is the mudaf ilayh. However, it's even come as mawsuf sifa as well. Al-Baytul Muqaddas as well. So this is just some beneficial points if anybody wants to further read and develop the understanding of beneficial points that one can deduce from the story. Then these points are mentioned, and they're taken from tafsir kitabs. So we can see a tahrir wa tanweer here. That one's from Shara' al-Hadith or Umdatul Qari, and also various grammar books as well. So for example, here we have Jami' al-Durus al-Arabiyya. For now, that's it, and inshallah we'll see you on the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To deepen your understanding of the Arabic language, explore our range of courses, including Balagha, Arabic Rhetoric, covering the 3 core disciplines of Arabic Rhetoric. The Arab course, which offers a comprehensive study of diacritical markings, and the Tarkib course, focusing on sentence structure and composition, along with many other enriching programs. To learn more, click the link in the description.